Yo, yo, yo. All right, let's get this going. So I put up a Q&A on my Instagram story just for you guys to like send over questions. I always get like all like repeating questions usually, so that is why I wanted to do this. Go through all of these questions I have, or like most of them. I picked out a lot of them. I didn't pick out every single one. There's just too many. But let's get into it. I'm gonna try and make this like somewhat quick so it's not too long. But obviously everything I'm about to like talk about, this is all my opinion, my experience with things. A lot of these are just based off like trans stuff, like surgeries and stuff like that people want to know, and a lot of it is fixated on bottom surgery. But we're starting off strong. First one, am I into backdoor play? Not that I know of. So just so I could answer that for you. I don't know. There's nothing else for me to say for that. I like this one from Lexi though. Expose my most listened to playlist. It's gotta be, I use Apple Music. I know I should get on Spotify, but it's gotta be my club mix. I play this every single day, all throughout the day. And I share these on, in my link, I think. It's got disco lines, disclosure, latch, of course. Diplo, Fred again, disco lines again. I play this playlist all the time. It's between this, and then I also have like a late night playlist that is probably more like a sex playlist a little bit. I like to play that as well. You know, I thought I'd put this one in early. Shout out to my man Mitch here. What's my favorite superfood blends and healthy energy drinks? Mass Supplements. He sent me his, this is his brand, obviously. Shout out to him. But I'm actually really enjoying these reds and greens. I am smashing these almost every single day, or at least I try to when I remember. I'm gonna be honest, I'm big on texture with my supplements. Beforehand, I did not like taking like those reds, like the veggies stuff. I didn't like taking them because of the texture. It was very chalky, but truthfully, not just saying it, these are like the complete opposite. Like it tastes good, but also the chalkiness, that's big for me. It's not there. So I really do enjoy these. I'm almost empty, but shout out to Mitch for that. All right, so now we're gonna start getting into like all the trans questions. Basically, there's a lot of them. How long have I been on T? I've been on T for, I'm coming up on 6 years. My 6th year falls on May 17th. Honestly, I always say like my T date is probably the most important date in my life for myself. I like to just take a step back just to realize like what I've been able to get through just to be where I'm at today and the person I am today. When did I first start my journey or realize that I was trans? It was my senior year of high school. I was like halfway through senior year, January, February time. I was going through a breakup at the time. I was not mentally in the best spot, I would say, or the best place at that time. And I just started to like resort to the internet. I just started watching all these videos. And I randomly came across just like a trans creator. I think it was Sam Collins, because I looked at him, and Wes Tucker. Wes Tucker's not someone who's really out and about and vocal about anything, but I looked up to them when I was going through this time period and just stalked all their social media pages, just tried to find anything that I could, did a lot of research on it. And that's when things just started to click. It started to really make sense, because growing up as a kid, my childhood, I always knew I was different than my peers. I always knew, like, my sexuality was really hard just to get that down too, because I knew I was attracted to girls. I cross-dressed my whole life. Like, my whole life I was dressing as a tomboy. And I would be flirting with girls, just like my personality. It would come off like that. But it was just very hard for me to accept the fact that I was like gay. I was a lesbian. Because on another spectrum, I was hanging out with the boys. My mannerisms, the way I act, the way I talked, it fell in line with like more of the boy childhood, I guess, if that makes sense. It was really hard for me to just really accept the fact that I was trans at first. It took some time. There's a lot of grace period that you had to give yourself with anything. You have to like really understand the fact, like, or at least try to understand, like, is this who I am? Is this what I want to go through? So yeah, you really need to do a lot of like self-discovery during this time period, and you do it like throughout your whole transition as well. Who was the hardest person to tell about my transition? Like, who was the hardest person to come out to? My dad. I didn't even come out to my dad at all. I came out to my mom. I wrote a I typed up a letter on the computer, printed it out, put it on her bed one night, and then that night I always talk about this. She came into my room, she just held me. I was crying, and she was crying a little bit, and like, she didn't know what she could do or where to go from here. But all she said was like, you're my child. I love you. I support you. Like, we're going to figure this out. And then she was just like, do you want me to tell dad for you? I was like, yeah, can you? The reason why it's so hard is because I look up to my dad, right? My dad has always been there for me. He's always been pushing me as a kid, especially in sports. And all I kept thinking about was like, I'm going to take his little girl away from him. That's like, I'm like getting emotional right now because that's all I could really think about. And I didn't know how he was going to respond or react, if he was even going to support me. So I'm just thankful that they do. And then to loop off this, like, who's my biggest supporter? I would say, this is hard. I can't pick just one person. I would say my family, my parents, my brother, and all of my friends. Like, the people I surround myself with, my close friends, they are all my support group. And I appreciate every single one of them. I cherish every relationship I have with every single person in my life. Each individual that I've either crossed paths with or still have in my life, like, they've helped me in one way or one form, whether they know it or not. And that is really why I cherish every relationship I go through. My best advice I can give for my younger trans people, patience. I say this all the time, it's repetitive. You need to be patient. It's like transitioning, it's not easy. It's not quick. It's a long process. And you just really need to figure out during this time who you are, what you want out of things, and what would make you like not only happy, but also comfortable and confident in your own body. Everybody's different. Like, the way I went about my transition, everyone's not going to go about it that way at all. So that's why patience is key, because there's a lot out of your control. With these surgeries, these consultations, these surgeons are busy. They're going to book you out like years in advance. At least for me, they did. And you need to be patient during this time, because it's just something you can't have like right then and there. And during this time, that is why it's so important to focus on yourself. Post-op dating life, or what's the hardest part of dating as a trans man? As many of you know, I don't really date. I don't date around too much. I don't put myself out there in a way. I am flirty. I would say that. I have a very flirtatious personality. I feel like I can get along with anyone and pretty social. But when it comes to dating, non-existent. And that's on me, obviously. I would say in the beginning, I always thought that I would never find someone that would like love me for who I am just because I am trans. Like, being trans really affected a lot of things, or a lot of aspects in my life in the very beginning stages, but now it really doesn't at all. But I also have like a bad past, I would say, just with one past relationship. It just started getting really toxic. It was very manipulative, and it made me really question who I was, and it destroyed me as a person for a second. So it's just like all of that in one relationship, and I thought that was love. Like, it gives me a wrong taste, a wrong look at love, rubs me the wrong way, and I feel like that kind of is why it has scared me a little bit, because of what I've been through in the past, and I don't really want to experience that again. How do we get over being a short king? Dude, there's nothing you can do about your height. Let me put it, I'm giving you tough love right now. Who the fuck cares? Nobody. If you really care about your height that much, like, come on. You have other things that you need to be worrying about. I was that person at first. I cared about my height. I fixated on my height. I was dysphoric about my height because I was like, no girl's gonna want me. And it came to a point I was like, what the fuck am I doing? There's nothing I can do about my height, realistically. Like, yeah, I can wear these little platform shoes, like maybe a little taller, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. Comes down to your confidence, how you carry yourself, and just your personality. If you're a good person, yeah, some girls care about it. Who cares? Own who you are. That's the biggest thing. All right, so who was my surgeon? All of these are like pertaining bottom surgery at this point, or surgeries in general. Who's my surgeon? What hospital? I went to Rachel Blublon-Lagner at NYU Langone. It's in New York City. Her and Dr. Zhao work together. Dr. Blublon does like stage 1, stage 2 specifically, and Zhao does stage 2, stage 3. So why did I end up choosing her compared to like going to Chen or someone else? Honestly, I just went to her. I didn't look at anybody else. I only looked at her because one, I wanted to be very close to home. I live in upstate New York and I'm 4 hours from New York City. I didn't want to travel too far for like recovery. I wanted to be close to home. And then I really liked her results. That's the bigger, more important thing to choose from, but I really liked her results. Her team's great. And yeah, I honestly have like no complaints at this point. So where did I stay for my surgeries? So stage 1, I stayed in Brooklyn for a month, 4 weeks. Stage 2, we stayed over in Long Island for like 2 weeks, I think, 2.5 or something. And then stage 3 I stayed in Hoboken for 5 days. Obviously, every surgeon's different in regards to how they go about it. Not every surgeon goes about it in stages. Sometimes they do it all in one. Not sure how that works, but Godspeed to you. Anyways, the reason why you had to stay behind is because they want you close to the hospital in case there's any like infection, anything that arises during your recovery when you're at home. They want you to like get back to the hospital as quick as you can. Suggestions as part of doing the initial research in bottom surgery. So this is for any surgery, I would say, but bottom surgery, you kind of get a choice in regards to what you would want. But also you have to like meet with your surgeon too and see what they say and what they're willing to do as well. Because if you wanted phalloplasty, but you met with your surgeon, like, I don't think you're a good candidate for phalloplasty, like, they're gonna be honest with you. And they're gonna probably say you should get metotioplasty. So when you look into researching, you need to figure out what you want. It just always comes down to like what you want out of surgery. So for me, I wanted to stand to pee and I wanted it to look as realistic as possible. That was what was most important to me. I want to be able to have sex too. I wanted it to be as closely related to a cis male's penis as it could. And that is why I went with RFF phalloplasty. The reason why I went with my forearm compared to my thigh is because you have more nerve endings in your arm, your forearm. So it's going to come with better sensation, better feeling, or a higher percentage of gaining that sensation back for yourself. And also, if you get it from your thigh, you are holding on to more fat on your thigh compared to your forearm. So it might be a little girthier from your thigh. Again, it depends like who you are as a person, your body type, and what's important to you. Will I show my finished product? No, absolutely not. You all ask. That's not going to happen. Is it normal for phalloplasty to take a year? Honestly, no. I would say it probably takes longer than a year if it's broken up in like all these stages. I would just say it depends on the person. Everyone's different. Everyone recovers different. For me, I recovered quicker than most because I'm younger. I'm healthy. I take really good care of my body and I eat the right diet. So yeah, I'm very in shape. I'm young. And I just heal a lot quicker because of that. So my body didn't really have any complications to anything, just aside from the fact that stage 2, when you get creation of the head, they do like the flap around the dick. I've talked about this before. Like just a tiny part on top fell off the flap. So there's like a little ridge and then the rest of the head's there. But it doesn't really bother me at all. I feel like it gives it character, and honestly, I'm very happy with my outcome. And off that, a lot of people ask like how sensation is. Sensation depends on the person. Again, depends where you get the graft site too as well, your donor site. So that, again, that's why I went with the forearm. My sensation's probably, percentage-wise, I would say about 70 to 85%, probably in that range. It is not 100% at all, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm very happy with my results. That's all I'm gonna say. Could you have sex after your first bottom surgery, or do you have to wait after the third? Again, depends what surgeon you go to, how many stages there are. Some of them do like stage 1 and stage 2 together. You could have sex anytime. Again, you don't need like the bottom area to have sex with someone. There's a lot of toys out there as well, and you do just fine with your hands and your mouth. But yeah, you could literally have sex whenever. There's a lot of toys, not toys, but like things that can help you, props in a way that you could use to utilize for your penis if you have not had like the erectile device or implant put in. For me, did not have sex yet, and I don't really plan on having sex right out the gate. Again, I'm not one to really sleep around, but we'll see where things take me. What stage was the most physically painful? Physically, I would honestly have to go with probably stage 2 physically, but like emotionally and mentally was stage 1. Stage 1 destroyed me as a human being for about 2-3 months. That was the hardest recovery just because I had all these open wounds. My arm was disheveled and that was hard to get over or get past in a way until it started to really heal up. Like now I'm fine with my arm. I'm getting confident with my scar. It still takes a little bit of time. It doesn't really bother me at all. But in the beginning, bro, that was hard. Here's probably one thing that wasn't talked about for stage 1. I discussed it briefly. The hardest thing about stage 1 is, yes, my left side of my body was weak, open wounds everywhere. I had to wrap it for months, but also I had just my shaft. There's no head or anything. I just had a hot dog hanging down there, and I still had a vagina. Having both those at the same time was extremely fucking dysphoric. As you can imagine, that fucked with me for a while. That was very difficult, and I feel like that was the reason why it was so like mentally draining. Emotionally, it got to me. It really affected my way of life for a couple months, and then when I got stage 2, like 6 months after, like it really closed things up because I officially was able to pee out of it and actually utilize what was down there now. Consider fellow myself, curious if your dick feels like part of you even with the numbness. Yes, like it's attached to my body. I know it's there. You had to do this in the very beginning stages too. It's very hard for your mind to realize that there's something new there. So you have to work on it, and the way you work on it is really just by touching yourself, exploring your body. Self-gratification is huge. Do your thing. Play around. I don't know. Can I still orgasm? Yes, dude, I can. I get this question a lot as well. What a lot of people don't understand is like, I don't have sperm. I don't understand how people don't understand that. I don't have sperm. I was not born a male. So I cannot physically ejaculate anything. Nothing's coming out. It's a clean process. But I still have like sensation with my clitoris. My clitoris is buried more in my shaft of my penis. So it just kind of like moved that sensation up a little bit more in a way. There's a risk that you could lose sensation when you do that. I wanted to take that risk, and I'm still able to orgasm and stuff and get off. So how do you work out or go out semi-erect? It's not noticeable at all. Like I'm in my underwear. It's a little noticeable in this. I'm wearing like huge underwear though for that reasoning, but it's really not that noticeable. Your pants kind of just push it down. How does the pump work? Do you actually have to pump it yourself, or arousal triggers it? No, you literally have to physically use your hand and pump this bad boy up. I have not been able to do that yet because I have to be semi-erect for healing purposes for the next like 5 weeks. So just riding it out for now, and then when I go to my next post-op is when they'll show me how to pump it up. But other than that, like you can't emotionally get hard or anything. Like that's just not physically possible. So you had to utilize a little helper, and that's why I have the pump. How long was recovery for each bottom surgery procedure I got? Stage 1 was the longest, and then as we went on, it was quicker recovery-wise. So stage 1, I always say I didn't really start to feel like myself until like 3.5 months after. Stage 2, probably like a month or a month and a half of recovery. And then stage 3, realistically, it's probably 2 weeks, I would say, recovery-wise. But they want you to like take it slow, take it easy, of course. Pain level of surgery per stage, or do you have a better pain tolerance than most? I would definitely say I have a higher pain tolerance than a lot of people, but I think it comes down to like my mindset and my mentality on things than the way I talk to myself. I'm a little hard on myself, as many know. I usually just tell myself like, don't be a pussy, don't be a bitch. You have to get through this, like just ride it out. Trust the process, basically. For bottom surgery, you need to get a hysterectomy. Did I get a full one? No, I just got a partial one. So I still have my ovaries. The reasoning why I kept my ovaries is because 1, I've never had issues with my ovaries. I've never had like excruciating pain or anything. So I didn't want to bother like taking them out. But the second reason is because you're still producing estrogen. You need that hormone. So I didn't want to fuck up my hormone levels and mess with that either. So I was like, if I'm having no issues with them, I'm not going to take them out. There's no reason for me to take them out. So I just left them in. But another thing is when you start testosterone, you need to figure out if you want to freeze your eggs, because like down the line, if you want to have kids and stuff like that. I hope you can realize like there's a lot of choices you need to figure out and you need to make. I made these at a really young age. I had to figure out if I wanted to freeze my eggs at 19 years old. I ended up not doing that because of money, mainly. I didn't want to pay for like, I would be paying right now just to keep them frozen. You know how expensive that is? And I wasn't willing to do that because I was like, fuck, I'm going to take the risk and see like down the line, maybe we get more medically advanced as the years go on when I'm actually ready to have children or even want a family if I do. And then I'll think about, can I use my eggs that I still have? Like, are these usable even though I'm taking testosterone? I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll cross that road when it comes. Do I still get anxiety taking my shots? If not, what made you get over/used to it? Honestly, I never got anxiety when taking my shots. I know some people do. Realistically, it's just like, just do it, dude. You need it. You wanted it. So take it. You just can't like think about it too much. Yeah, maybe I sound like a dick right now, but you need to take that. So just take it. And you can't overthink it. It really is not that big of a deal either. Just inject it in yourself and you're good. Have I experienced hair thinning on T? Yes, I have. My hair used to be extremely thick before testosterone, and then I thinned out immensely. I would say my hair has been growing back a little bit, and it's looking fuller because I've been taking oral minoxidil and oral finasteride. So I've been doing that, and then I also have like Him spray that I use and a special shampoo, but yeah, it did affect my confidence at first, and I started to freak out. I was like, holy shit, I'm like 24, I'm balding. But yeah, at this point, I already know I'm gonna be bald. So I wanted to hang on to my hair for right now, and then down the line, I'm gonna shave it eventually. How I handled early transition, the awkward stages, would I do anything different? Honestly, no. I don't think I would do anything different. It's just more the fact like you had to go through these stages, nothing you can do out of your control. This is when you had to focus on yourself, focus on your mindset, focus on your self-discovery, and just trust in the process. But also, the biggest thing for me was my support group at that time. Yeah, I went through some awkward phases for myself. I was not confident at all, especially like pre-top surgery. That sucked. But again, you really just need to have a really good support system to fall back on. And it's easier said than done, but you got to find those people that just support you, even if it's just like 1 or 2 people, and just ride with them. Lastly, do I think surgeries have completely dissipated my dysphoria? 100%. 100%. A lot of people don't understand the concept of gender-affirming care, gender-affirming surgeries. I think I'm living proof of it. I don't really need to explain myself at all, but what I've been through and where I'm at today because of my transition to testosterone, I would say my quality of life, I can't complain.